let me, okie dokie, what is this more? Hold on, what is showing up here? Continue. I don't know what that more is. Does that mean somebody's chatting? Okay, there's somebody in the chat. I think you posted the wrong minutes. Oh, no, okay. Let me take a look. Thanks, Irv. Let me take a look at what I posted into the board file. Okay, so Irv, well, let me open up in prayer, and then we'll deal with this minute issue. Wrong minutes in the board file. Okay, I'll take a look at that. So let me just open up in prayer and thank everyone for being here. And is Bishop on?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Here he is. I see him. Okay, he's on that 3.
Oh, Georgina, the doorbell.
So I'm going to
I
ask
guess I have
everyone
to
to
get, can you
mute.
get it?
And
Are you dressed?
Charlie, if you need to mute, please mute. And please no one be offended by if we mute you. It just means that we want to make sure that everyone can hear. So thank you for that. All right, Father God, we just thank you for this day. We thank you for your goodness and your mercy, Lord. We thank you, Father God, for waking each and every one of us up this morning, Lord, clothed in our right mind with the activity of our limbs, Lord God, with the heart to serve you, Lord. We ask as we move into this meeting, Lord, that you would just grant us your grace and your presence, Lord God. Give us your vision, Lord God. Give us your, that we would further the ministry and the work of FLM, Lord God, according to your will. We know, Lord God, that we are a nonprofit organization, Lord God, but we know that it's in you that we move, it's in you that we live, and it's in you that we have our being, and the work that is been accomplished in Haiti, Lord God, is a direct result of your hand. So we just thank you for your work that you've done. We ask that as each person reports, Lord God, that you would just bless them and give them the vision that they need regarding their departments. And so I ask you all of these things in your name. Amen.
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 All righty. So I don't know what that's all about. So Somali, I just want to just kind of quickly open in just a little bit of meditation. It's not going to be anything long or formal. It's more so a thought. I am doing a class at church in the class is called The Bait of Satan by John Bevere. And it's about offense and how the enemy uses offense as a trap. And one of the things that to really hold believers in captivity. But one of the parts that we talked about this week was around this idea of that when Jesus told the disciples to, they had watched them do major miracles. They had watched them, raise the dead, do some incredible miracles. But when it came to forgiveness, and they said, if your brother comes to you 7 times and asks for forgiveness, that you are to forgive in a day, that you are to forgive them. And their response was, Lord, increase our faith. And so it was kind of like, not increase our faith to believe in miracles, not increase our faith to believe in everything that you're able to do, your omnipotence, but increase our faith to be able to deal with our brothers and our sisters without offense. And the scripture says it's impossible to live without offense, but that what we should be doing is showing the love of God in our hearts. And so it made me think about, it distinguishes a phileo love and a agape love. And it made me think about our board, because there are people who have never been to Haiti, who have never had to opportunities to engage with the Haitians one-on-one, but who monthly after month and year after year continue to support the work of FLM. And that's a direct, when I look at your service and I look at the years that expand this board, that goes directly to an agape love for that we have, and that the people that God has connected us to have to the work of Haiti. And so I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful to be a part of an organization where that agape love is exhibited from the top in our executive director all the way down through out, and it just permeates through this organization. So I'm thankful for that. And so that's really all I want to really talk about this morning. So we can kind of go into the minutes, and Sister Molly, if you are able to put the minutes up, I will read through or highlight them, if that's okay, Russell. since Tim is not here. And we can, I'm gonna pull them up where I have them here too. Alrighty, so we met May 8th, again, virtually. It'll be good when we're able to meet in person, but again, we are virtual. We did have a couple of folks absent. We began with meditation and prayer at 9:06. And I want to thank every one of you guys for your prayers and support for Michelle and the loss of her baby. She is doing as best, as good as can be expected, day by day. But knowing that, we continue to surround her in God's prayers so that his love embraces her during this difficult time. So I want to thank you guys for your prayers on that. We reviewed the minutes and they were of the April meeting, I guess. And they were approved. Bishop read the executive director's report. And Sue, we did let us know about the passing of your sister. So we do express our condolences there. The deputy executive report was read by Russell. We did have the treasurer's report read by James and gave us an overview of where we stand financially and some of the concerns that we need to address, as well as some allocation of funds that were, we weren't quite certain for the Destiny Life and Assembly of Church of Christ and how to allocate those funds. We did our funds for Haiti, reported on the walk, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about that and the success of the walk, but that was a great, being the first time back from virtual and trying to do something virtual and in person was incredible. So we really are thankful for the team that really focused on making that a success. We didn't have a report on our office, but we reviewed our calendar of events. And again, recognizing that our missions are going to be postponed until potentially in January, but we'll keep an eye on that. We did refer to the banquet coming up and our 40th anniversary celebration as well. We went into committee reports and had are really putting a lot of emphasis on the 40th anniversary to make sure that that is going to be successful. And we have everyone's input to make sure that it will, everyone is involved. And so we did a number of recognizing and, what word am I trying to find? Establishing who would be chairs in various committees and subcommittees, and recognize that we are going to need to also include some folks that are maybe not on the board to be able to expand that committee as well. You can scroll down for me, Molly. Okey-dokey. See, I have a white screen, nothing's showing up for me. Let me pull them up. Is anybody else seeing them? You have the spinning wheel of death. Let me pull mine up.
Mine and my screen is frozen. I'm having trouble with it.
Yeah, that's okay. Let me pull them up. No, you're good. We'll continue in just a second here. But
you can share them when you pull them up. I'll give you can.
Okay.
Let me get that. You should be able to share them if you can.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to pull them up and try to share my screen. I think it's this one. Let's see, what are we seeing? Let me pull this up and then, yep.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Good. Let's see, where are we there? I can see him too. Okay, there we are. We went into the committee reports and Magda was serving for Susie, and she gave a very brief report. Fundraising committee really talked through the art fundraiser And there was no report on the education team. Medical team did note that they were going to be meeting to discuss the 40th anniversary and how to the participation and support around that. James did give a finance committee report where we really talked through just the new initiative that he has regarding looking at how the AAC board is given a narrative around how funds are used, as well as taking a look, letting us know that we needed $2,500 for the clinic and how we would pay for that. So we had a finance report there. Communication team referred to just thank the Allegra for the work that she had done, and Jonathan had done on a newsletter. And it's always such a pleasure to get that in, and I think that they have a student internship that's going to be working with them this summer. So be able to do a lot more that way as well. It did end at about 11:25 with prayer by Mother Roselle and for our next meeting for today. So that is the highlights of our board meeting from in the month of May. We need a motion to approve the highlights as given.
I do have a correction.
Okay, go ahead.
I was not at the meeting. I stopped in for about 10 minutes, but I wasn't there, so I should be on the absent.
This is Sue. I was not on the meeting. They had me on the meeting and absent from the meeting.
All right, let me modify that.
So you that out.
That's because you were there in spirit. Can take that off. Okay, so we got, where are you here? Here you go. Okay.
And my last name, yeah. Last name spelled wrong. Golando. Is an A, Golando.
I don't know why I want to always spell your name wrong. Dear.
There you go.
Thank you. I think, anything else you guys notice? And all this. Well, if there are no other corrections or modifications, we are going to ask for a motion to approve the minutes as highlighted.
I move that we approve the May 2021 minutes with the revisions.
Okay.
Second.
A second. Great.
Second.
Perfect. Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. All right. Molly, do you want me to pull up the agenda?
I can do that. That's on another
Okay.
place. If you stop share, I can do it.
Yep, I can do that. Okie doke. We are going to move then to our executive director's report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me remind everybody that love never fails. Madam Chair, members of the board, I am grateful for the privilege of meeting in a fellowship with every board member this morning. God has been faithful to us individually and collectively as a ministry over this past 38 years. Let me bid you then to continue to stand on his promises as we move forward. We can say with confidence, the Lord is our helper. I will not be afraid. Let me extend my heartfelt gratitude to Russell Bynum and the communication team for a successful work. As our very first post-COVID outing, it went well. We're glad to see all those who came out as a sign of their commitment to our ministry. Haiti is still at a dangerous crossroad. COVID-19 has returned with a vengeance. The few hospitals catering to treatment of the virus are saturated. It has been reported in the press the death of many known personalities, but we know that the disadvantaged are always overlooked. Vaccination has not yet begun, of course, not yet available. In addition, gang violence is still not yet under control. Due to the COVID outbreak, the Ministry of Education has hastened the closing of schools for June 11. That was yesterday. The schedule of state exams has not changed. I met with the health committee last Saturday. I was very impressed by their concern and hard work to promote healthcare at the House of David. They are also interested in the licensure of the clinic. As I told them, it is a long and tedious process. I also let them know that the board is supporting the effort every step of the way. In fulfilling the steps toward recognitions, Evans has engaged an engineer who works on designing plan as required by the Haitian Health Department. The cost is $2,500. I asked the committee to help in paying this bill, and I'm also requesting the help of board members for their support. We express once again our thankfulness for your faithful commitment to FLM. We feel blessed. We are engaged together in the struggle of helping others. Our efforts are not in vain, for we have seen the positive results of our involvement in improving the lives of those who aren't as fortunate as we, should be as us. And we are also reaping a wealth of benefits for helping others. It is such a great source of joy and happiness. May God continue to bless you without measure. And don't forget to make the best happen today with wonder working power in Christ. Thank you for your attention. We'll be ready to answer questions if you have any, and we can approve my report.
Morning, Lee. I have a question.
Yes.
The 2,500, is that the licensing fee or is that the engineering fee? What does that pay for in that process of getting a license for the clinic?
There will be many fees as we move on in this process. This is only one of the fee. They wanted to have a plan for the clinic. I mean, how the rooms are placed, evacuation possibilities, all those various things. So this is just one fee, one of the fees.
Is there an idea of a budget of what it's going to cost to get it accredited? So instead of saying this is a fee and then we have this fee and then we have this fee, is there kind of and maybe the medical team will speak to that, but is there a budget for overall what it would cost to have the clinic be accredited?
Yes, our question at the health committee.
Okay.
Now I understand our quest for rationalization of things, but I am sorry. It's going to be a long process and we have to take things as we go along and cross the bridge as we get there. Cross bridges, not only one, but cross bridges as we get to them.
Also, at one point, I don't know, a couple years back, I think we had started this process at one point. Will any of that stick, remain, or are we starting back from ground zero?
I believe whatever we have done in the past will continue. I was the one, I remember, that started to do it, but Evans now is committed to see the process through. So we appreciate his effort. And as I told you, there are many, many steps to fulfill the process. And also it will require knowing somebody in the inside of the Ministry of Health. So we cannot go into all those details, but that's what we are. Verna is from the island, so that's the reason why she's laughing. She understands.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Bishop, I have one question. I'm sure the medical committee can tell us the benefits that we can share with those that we're trying to raise funds from of having this accreditation. So that might be another, point as we do our ask is what benefits do we see as a part of this process? And we know, but we have an idea, but sometimes when you're looking for benefactors, they need to know the benefits.
You're right. And I did send the benefits to the health committee.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can pull that. And Dr. Maguire, she may have that. Do you have it, Dr. Maguire?
I do. I just sent a big document to everybody now about the steps required to get licensure. And then I did send a small document to the email of the group about what we can get. And this is just the information that was sent to us from Bishop and Evans. So none of us were able to independently get this information. So that's just what we have. I guess the health committee, I was going to talk about this at the end, our big discussion the last time we met was, what is it going to cost? Can we do it? Because the steps to get licensure, they're pretty extensive and it's kind of daunting. And there's some things I just think we probably can't do and some things we can do, but talking with Bishop and knowing how things kind of go, that sometimes if you know someone that knows someone and you're close enough that we might be able to gain licensure. So we had some concerns that there's an undetermined cost and there's an undetermined benefit per se. So we're trying to get more information to see how much benefit we're going to gain from getting licensure.
Mm-hmm.
So here, kind of the same questions you guys have. We're in the process of figuring that out.
Okay, sounds good.
Here are the benefits. Let me quickly read them to you. I don't want this item to consume the meeting.
Right.
it said the Ministry of Public Health is the only authority which authorizes an institution to operate in the field of health on the Haitian territory. Without this authorization, we can be prevented from operating even with our license as a non-governmental organization. By this entity, the government controls the health centers through a report that we will have to submit every month.
Every month.
On the cover of this authorization, we will not be prosecuted if a patient dies on the premises of the clinic. When a subsidy is available, our health center can benefit from it. Number 4, we will receive vaccines and some medicine. Number 5, the medical team will not be stuck at the airport with drugs transported for clinic activities. Number 6, our employees may participate in seminars organized by the government. Number 7, we'll be able to give birth to pregnant women. Those are some of the benefits, but I think the requirement, you see, we should have a license to operate, period. We have done it, but let's make it clear, it is a requirement to have the license.
Leon,
And I will urge, and I'm urging the health committee and the board, let us make the commitment to work at it until we get it.
Leon, this is Lynn. I think it's very important for us to have it. I think the key that we all have to remember is that it's not a one and done. It's kind of like my job here. I accredit hospitals every 3 years. So, you know, they can come and visit. I had researched this a little previously. They can come and visit at any time. And so we always have to keep things up. We can't just say, well, we're going to achieve this and then we've got it. You know, it's something that we would have to work on. We'd have to commit to work on. I think it's wonderful personally, but it is something that, you know, we would have to have an ongoing commitment to.
Thank you, Lynn. And just to encourage the health committee, I think we should make it a motion that and vote on it and approve it, that the FLM board is committed in the process of getting a license for the clinic. And we also encourage the health committee to do their share in helping us to get there.
I think maybe we have to say, yes, that's great, but we want to look at the pros and the cons. But, you know, I think we'll find the pros are there. There are some downsides, but I just think we all have to know that going in. But other than that, I think you're right, Leon. That's good.
Can I make a statement?
Yes.
I think at this point and overall too, we'll need to look at resources in Haiti. If the government is making all these demands, in Tobago, the government provides the health care. I mean, we are offering something, we're trying, but I think maybe you have to find a way to find resources in Haiti to help us out, to get, you know, facilitate what's going on. I really want to see that happen.
Well said and well taken, although things are not that easy in Haiti, but it's a good point.
I also think that this would give us access to like world health stuff.
Yeah.
And so when I think of, the World Health Organization and, other entities and foundations that fund, clinics, if they know that we're accredited, they will be more willing to fund the work if they know that there's some governmental oversight of what is happening at the clinic. And I would imagine that's the same for, for medicines too. If we are an accredited clinic by the government, then, when there's, vaccines that are being dispensed through, World Health measures, that we would then be able to get that. Dr. Robin, is that accurate? I'm not a doctor. I'm just playing one on TV right now.
I am thinking if that is the case, I think that, it's one step at a time. I think there's a big unknown as to how much it's going to cost for us to get, how much it's cost to maintain it, because it will be a licensure. And as Lynn said, there'll be, not only do we have to meet the standards, but we have to maintain those standards so that when we are visited periodically by government officials, that we meet criteria to maintain our licensure. And it's going to be challenging, as all things are, but we're going to have to try to get the resources to do it. I just don't know what that number is going to be. We're going to have to obtain the resources to maintain it. But I do think it would improve the quality of care that we can provide at the clinic and expand what we can provide there. I know there's some interest in eventually delivering babies there. I think we're kind of pretty far from that right now, but if we can get medications, I know they have family planning that's free in Haiti, and we might be able to get those medications to help women be able to plan their families safely and as they choose to plan their families. And I think getting the vaccinations would also be a step in the right direction. I would love to see this move quickly. We know things don't move quickly, but we would like for them to, because I really would like to see us get our population, the entire country of Haiti vaccinated. There's so many are unvaccinated for the normal, like measles, the stuff that we have, let alone COVID, that's now kind of coming through their country. So I think the task is big and the money required to do it, I'm not sure what that's going to be, but I think it would be great if we could do it. And I agree. I think to be able to say we're accredited definitely gives us that we are, which we are, and approved by the government, and may open us up to more funding from the World Health Organization or various other public.
Yeah.
And one of the things that always was a question whenever any type of manufacturer looks to give drugs out from the US, one of the questions they always ask, do you have accreditation in your third world countries? So, I mean, that's been a stumbling block for us on many things that we might been able to take advantage of. So yes, that's true here too.
And I agree. I had spoken with the representatives for the HPV vaccine, which is the cervical cancer vaccine, which I think would do tremendous good in Haiti because there's no cervical cancer screening there. It's like this much. There's international, anyhow, there's one organization in Port-au-Prince that I know does cervical screening, and that's it. So to vaccinate the women and men in Haiti against HPV would be huge. But to get that vaccine for free, they don't just give, they're not going to give it to Rob McGuire. And I'm really nice, but they just won't give me a whole bunch of it, like, hey, I just want millions of doses. And I promise I'll do good things. Like, I have to send it to an entity there. So that I agree with Lynn on that point.
I see.
We can get free medication sent in.
Mix.
Yeah. And I think also too, right now, we're up against, the surge in COVID. Whoops. So we're up against the surge in COVID and then the violence. I know that our committee, was trying to get some vitamins from Vitamin Angels. And unfortunately, we weren't able to pick those up because they're in a place that, that is really, struggling with the violence right now. And so we have to pass on that, right? We've had to pass on some vitamins that are sitting at, the Vitamin Angels office.
Well, the conversation can go on and on.
I want to say something else.
if we could, because we're not going to have the clinic, the license soon, okay? But my final word is, license is not an option, but a must.
Could I make a
Can
motion to
I-
move us
can I-
forward?
can
Oh,
I,
James got one.
Yeah, I wanted to say, before, I mean, since we're on this topic, I was going to talk about it later on in my committee report, but on the shepherding process, there's a woman in Houston that I connected with who has actually started a hospital in Haiti, and I shared it with some of you all, and I made connection with Evans, and I hadn't heard from her in about 3 weeks or so, and then she just let me know that she was in the hospital, and so she's behind it, but once she gets back on her feet, she's get back engaged with us. But she has a hospital in Haiti, and so she's offered to help shepherd us through this process to the accreditation. And so just wanted to share that. And then on the funding front, what I was going to ask about was, what about Building Goodness Foundation, maybe approaching them again, and if we can lay out our sort of a plan for what it may cost to do this, and maybe approach the Building Goodness Foundation again with their consideration to look at supporting this effort.
I think that's a great idea.
Well, I don't want to throw cold water on what James has said, which is a good idea. However, we have to know Building Goodness Foundation. The priority is building buildings, okay? They have helped us to do that, and I don't think we can realistically look to them to ask them for funds for anything else.
I think we have to look at other sources, resources. Anderson Cooper just gave Hospital Albert Schweitzer some money. He made the money on Jeopardy and donated it. So maybe somebody can look around to see if we can find resources who will help us get the process going. America or Haiti or in the World Health or wherever. The world is small now.
Absolutely. And I think that these are some fantastic ideas that are going to be, as the committee starts to grapple with these ideas and starts to move forward with the process with Evan, these are things that are absolutely going to be taken into consideration. So it's a long process. And as Bishop alluded to, we're not going to solve it today. So I'd like to get a motion to approve the executive director's report. I think Bishop has already made a motion to approve his report. I'm just asking.
I second.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, excellent. Thank you, Bishop Pamphil. Now, the Deputy Executive Director's report.
Well, really, I would like to know, I think we should let the health committee know that we are committed, because they were still on the borderline, okay, on how to proceed.
Okay.
But we stand behind them. We will support the process. I think that will be a big step.
And
So
I think the health committee, we're going to meet before our next FLM meeting in July, I think. I think actually we're meeting the hour before our next FLM meeting in July to talk about this again, because I think the health committee it has a hard time committing fully, because I don't think that we're just a small group of ladies, I think all ladies, I don't know that we can afford to completely fund the effort. But if it's a team effort, I'm sure we can raise some funds along with the general, just try to get there. I think that was our biggest hesitation, because we don't know how much it's going to cost. It's really hard to raise.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? God may send us you never know, but, and we have,
correct.
But it was a lot to completely commit to as a committee in and of itself. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it wants to do it. Or my impression is that we want to do it. So.
Okay.
Sure.
So then,
to be or not to be, let's say to be. How about that?
Okay, so am I understanding that Bishop, you want to put a motion on the table that
Yes.
the medical committee will, along with the support of FLM Board, move forward with the licensure of the House of David, and understanding that it is going to be a process that will take time?
Sure. Except at the beginning, I think it got to be the board of FLM want to affirm the process and also want to affirm the health committee in the effort, along this line. Okay. So want them to know they are not alone. We are with them.
Okay. And does that board of FLM also include AAC, or is that something that we're doing? Does that have to go in the motion as well? So the board of FLM, does AAC have to be in that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
And to affirm the process, okay, in health committee, okay.
Sure.
So that motion is on the table. May we get a second?
I'm sorry, I still have a question. I just want us to be aware of what's happening here, because when we do this type of things, we have to make sure that when we say we're going to commit to something, that means that we're going to commit to the fundraising part, we're going to commit to all the other issues that go along with this. So you can make an unfunded mandate and say, hey, we're going to do X, Y, Z. But then when we need to write grants, when we have fundraising events, if everybody's not participating, if everything is not happening the way it should, you still don't have the funds to do it. So I would more like to see the concept of that they will explore, they will move towards that, but the concept that they're making a full commitment when we don't see the funds coming through this organization yet to do the things that we are committing to. I work with a lot of boards, so I know we make commitments in a meeting, but then afterwards, nothing happens until a couple of weeks before the meeting or a week before. And please don't, please understand what I'm saying. We have to, I agree that we need to move forward with this, but I'm not sure if I would say, unless I can see the capacity, we've got to look at capacity building. Are we there to commit to the amount of money that's needed? Or we're just going to say, we're going to move ahead one step at a time. But to say this is just me because I'm working with a lot of things. I'm working with, big organizations way bigger than FLM. And I work with, some boards do, and this is a great board. Okay, a wonderful board. But I'm looking at our capacity, and so are we saying that we're as a group we're going to commit to doing the capacity? It's easy to sit and say, hey, we ought to do, but it's a different thing if we are actually raising the funds or getting the grants or whatever. Okay, so this is my being on the fundraising side and development type side of many groups that I'm working with. We all have dreams, but we still have to work. And I'm a person of prayer, okay? But we still have to see it. We have to count that cost before we build. That's just my point. So I'm just asking that we do this in a stepped way, and we're aware if we make this commitment that we are making a commitment individually and not just making suggestions on who ought to do. Okay, I'm done.
Well, I feel you are with us, Russell. You said if we commit to do it step by step, and this is what we're doing. We're not saying we need X amount of money right now. I know we need the 2,500, but I don't see next month or in 2 months we're going to come back and say we need 10,000. I think it's more tedious in going through the process. Making a commitment, I humbly feel maybe the right way instead of exploring. We have already explored. And we have determined that is important to do. So I'm not being pushy. However, I feel maybe it's the right thing to do today. Let's do it, and we'll come back with you with details at each step of the way.
Okay.
Can we meet there, Russell?
Yeah, I'm just saying when we say we're committed as a group, that we're committed as a group.
Yes.
And I just want to make sure that everyone's on board and we understand what we're saying as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm concerned about.
Maybe we should find in Haiti another clinic that already licensed and operated, and we can share the costs and we can know exactly how much it's going to cost or how they're doing. Maybe that's what we should do. Look for a sister in Haiti.
That's good. I think James spoke to some of that too. So I'm just encouraging us to think about what we're doing. I agree with you, Bishop, and I agree with what we're doing, but I just want us to make sure that we understand what we're doing as a committee. And this is the best board one of the best boards I've ever been involved in. So that's not the issue, but I just want us to say, when we say this, that we are saying that we're gonna help the process go forward.
Yeah.
Sure. And that includes the funding and fundraising and all of that. Okay. And I think we should move on.
Wait a minute. I'd like to say something. I'd like to kick off the campaign to raise the $2,500 by giving $500 in memory of my husband. Because when he came back from Haiti and said, the first trip, he came back and said, we've got to build a medical clinic in Haiti. I thought he was crazy. I said, how do you build a medical clinic in Haiti? And I saw God's faithfulness in building it. So I'll be donating $500 in his memory. And I just challenge you to what you can, if you can add to that so we can reach our 2,500.
I will give 100, Susan, in your husband's memory.
Thank you.
Very good.
Okay, can I bring us back? We have I don't want to put the political thing in but we have a motion on the table. And if I'll read it back to you. The board of FLM wants to affirm the process to seek licensure and support the medical committee in pursuing this, knowing this will take much time. Is that what the motion that you wanted?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's up for a second.
Mm-hmm. I think that's good. Say it again.
Yeah, that sounds
the board
nice.
of FLM.
Okay, the board of FLM wants to affirm the process to seek licensure and support, licensure for the clinic and support the medical committee in pursuing this, knowing this will take much time and effort.
Okay.
I think that's good.
Yeah. In spite of the fact that it will take or with the knowledge that it will take much time and effort. Okay, maybe something like that. With the knowledge or with the recognition that it will take much time and effort.
For the understanding.
Understanding. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, I'll read it back again. The board of FLM wants to affirm the process to seek licensure for the clinic and support the medical committee in pursuing this, understanding this will take much time and effort.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, that motion is by Leon.
Yes.
And it will need a second.
I'll second the motion. Rhonda Taliaferro.
Okay, Birdie, I think you need to call for the,
I'm sorry, Jared. I'm trying to type in this here too. Okay, yes, everyone in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
So I just see in the notes, Robin and Gina, you wanted to also donate in Sue's husband's memory. And so please just let us know that. And I don't know if that has to be in the minutes or not. Now, Molly, are you typing minutes?
yes, I am.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you, guys. That was great discussion. And we are going to move to the Deputy Executive Director's report by Russell.
To the board chair and board members of FLM Haiti, I would like to submit the following report. While reading the Bible, Nehemiah 6:9 caught my attention. As you are aware, the book of Nehemiah records the time when the Jewish exiles were permitted to go back to Jerusalem to rebuild the wall that protected the city. Of course, the builders were met with opposition. Nehemiah met the opposition with these words. They were all trying to frighten us, thinking their hands will get too weak for the work and it will not be completed. But I prayed, now strengthen my hand. The past 4 weeks was mostly spent on the walk, getting t-shirts mailed out and following up on the banquet. The Doubletree sent a contract for our review. I also investigated a possible roundtable participant and an honorary chair, and Bishop has identified a speaker. Now, this is for the anniversary. I did look into a way to get more organizations to partner with us. There's a need to have some basic knowledge of those who support us. These demographics will be important as we seek major sponsorships during the anniversary. We did the following over the last 4 weeks. Tried to identify those who did not get their t-shirts, talk to media friends about the upcoming banquet and anniversary celebration, researched a possible honorary chair for the anniversary, and his Dr. Jeff Gardier is one person, and I talked to his manager, Alva Mason. We discussed an anniversary, discussed anniversary steps with Dr. Taliaferro. I also discussed some changes on the art sale flyer with Diane Neely. We created media posts and placed a Facebook ad and encouraged others to participate in the walk virtually. So I'll still have some more people that have participated and we'll be turning that money in. I want to thank all those who participated in the walk. If it was live, if you participated live or by Zoom. Thanks to Bishop and Mrs. Panfield for getting on site early for cleanup and setup, and to Allegra and Danielle who helped us get on the Zoom call. Please support the art sale by Kenneth Neely and the Neely brothers. I pray that God will strengthen our hands as we partner with him in this important and rewarding work. Respectfully submitted by Russell Bynum, Deputy Executive Director, FLM Haiti. Then I have another sheet, and this is, I'm not reading this, but it's just a biography of Jeff Gardier. And the concept is possibly have to be involved in some type of roundtable or something by Zoom or something like that. But we can discuss that later. But that's basically it. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
we get a motion to accept the Deputy Executive's report as read?
I still move.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
How much did the walk make? Is that coming up in another category?
Yeah, I don't know that. I know we're still getting money in, so I'm not sure where we are at yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Have any idea? You probably made your 2,500.
I don't know. I think, yeah,
I'm gonna talk about
I'm
it.
not sure. Because I didn't keep any records, but Yeah, so we'll have to see, because we gave people time, and I know people have to get to me. We gave people time to pay, you know, they're coming in later. So we'll see how that comes out. And,
Somebody
you know,
has to have some report.
oh, yes, yes, James would have some information,
Okay, all right.
and we'll get to that.
You're impatient.
So,
Like, oh, no. All right. Well, let's go ahead and approve the Deputy Executive Director's report.
We need a
as-
second. We
I
need a
second.
second.
I
All right.
second.
Perfect. Everybody, everyone in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. All right, James, I think you'll be able to address Mother Verner's questions, but if you'll give us the treasurer's report.
Oh, yes, I will. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, James.
I need to share my screen because I did not send my report over, but I have it available after the meeting. But Bertie called me early this morning. I was still working away, and so I wasn't ready even to share it at that time. So let me see if I can share my screen here. Let me know if you could see this.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, so what I want to touch base on is we've been talking about over the past few periods that the numbers coming in from the donations on the revenue side have been lower than the expenditures, and it's been a trend that's cannot really sustain itself and continue this way. And just as a point of reference, over the past couple months, I've had to take about $6,000 a month out of the money. This is the unrestricted money market account. And this is primarily the money that Colleen Taylor had provided. So that had to take about $12,000 over the past couple months, $6,000 each month in order to cover the expenditures. And so I mentioned that we cannot continue this particular trend because we're gonna run out of those funds very quickly if we keep on at that pace. And so as a result of that, we talked about it. I reached out to Evans and asked him to take a look at what can be done to address this on the AAC side, as we would look at things here in the States as well. Unfortunately, I had asked for at least a reduction of $1,000 because I know the funds are very needed there for all the various activities. But I'm happy to report that he sent Bishop, I guess you sent me this report yesterday, and I looked at the spreadsheet, and it actually is a reduction of about $2,100 from the prior month, which is really phenomenal. I think that so that's a great reduction overall. And you can see there in the second paragraph, in April, for example, we were about $17,000 in disbursements. May was close to 16,600. And so we're looking this month for a number in the $14,600 range. So that's about a couple $1,000 less. So that's very good. And so very happy to report this and still say though that we have to still look at some other ways to either increase our revenues coming in or look at some ways to reduce some of the expenditures. So here you go, Sister Verna. You want to talk about the 5K walk, and you can see in this paragraph here. So looking at the month of May, the numbers, we're showing about $5,000 revenue in May and expenses of about $1,800. And so myself, I'm not all that excited. I mean, I'm excited, but not excited about the numbers. I mean, I'm excited. Great time. We had a great fellowship and we got to exercise, but financially the numbers do not look very attractive right now. So hopefully there's some more funds coming on the way. I know that a lot of time and effort was put into this, and it would be great just to get a nice return out of all the effort that was expended for these activities. So the activity report below captures some of this information, and we could take a look down here to see what we're talking about. And then the scripture that I've been just looking at is just Proverbs 3 and 5, just to trust and rely confidently on the Lord with all of our heart and not rely on our own insight and understanding. And so let's continue to do this. So as we go down here, I should say also that moving forward with some of the activities related to and the literacy center, some of those operations will be coming to a close. And so going forward, some of these numbers will go down further as far as the expenditures in Haiti. So you can see here, you can see the donation number for May was in the range here of $8,500. So, and then with the Haiti walk, $5,000 we're showing for May, and so that revenue is $13,000. And then you can see on the expenditure side, you can see again that the expenditure number is exceeding the disbursement number, the revenue number. And so again, you see a shortage of about $5,000. And as I mentioned previously, we had to take about $6,000 out of the money market account in order to cover the expenditures that were less than the donations that had come in. So that's why I was happy that for the month of June right now, at least it looks like we're going to need to take $3,500 out as of today. So that's a nice reduction compared to 6,000. And so if we can just continue to get those numbers in line where we don't have to do this, then that's going to be much more favorable for us. So let me see if there's any questions. Okay, so let me share this then real quick. And I was going to talk about this later in the report, the committee report, but can you see this Excel sheet?
Yes, it's.
Or is it too small maybe?
It's small.
Yeah.
It's too small.
Let's see. So this sheet has really been very, very informative over the months as Evans and I have been working. So we don't really have time to go through all this in detail, but please take a look at it. But you can see here on just to orient you, on the left side, you can see the disbursements projections. So you can see the $100 and the salary $700 and the subsidy rate activity, the generator funds. And you can see a little bit on the right side an explanation of these numbers and any kind of accomplishments that Evans and the AAC team are proud of. And one thing I noticed here, which is nice, I see a reduction in the taxes, and so how that works, how the tax number was able to be reduced this time, because I don't know how this works. I guess I need to ask Evans about how that formula works there, because it's a good number that it went down from last time, but I just don't understand how you can reduce it. So you can see the subtotal for the AAC numbers there, and then the clinic operations, 2,500, and again you can see this. See what we also have here now is, and this is really something that I had really not seen before, where Evans has provided the revenue that's come into the clinic compared to the amount of money that we're supporting via grant, and you can see a delta there. So again, take a look at this when you have some more time, and then you can see a little bit further over here in column H. You can see. Can you see this? The patients, 466 patients, 18 adult, consultation, children, pregnant women, etc. And one other thing that, as Bishop had mentioned, the is on a rampage there, and so the request this time is for $800 for the COVID-related supplies, and that's much higher than in the past, and so that's an increase, but it's very much needed. So no concerns with this request.
James, so
Yes.
can you go back up there? So are we saying that there's a surplus? So AAC has a surplus in the medical account from the combination of what they have collected for fees for service and the amount of grant that comes in. So they have a running balance in the account that enables them to have some $4,000. So is that $4,070 is the account, the amount that goes into payroll? Is that what that's saying? Pay for every, on the right, the third column to the right?
Yeah. That's what it says. I mean, I just got this yesterday, so I have not really had a chance to look at it in a lot of detail and talk with Evans about it. But like I was saying, I had never seen these numbers before. So
Right.
It's encouraging that we have the sort of the numbers that show how much money's come in from the patients there in Haiti versus the grant coming in and what the differences are. So
that's encouraging.
It is. It is.
Very encouraging.
Especially when we talk about empowerment and things of that sort.
Yeah.
And you can you see the tabs below where it says may report, AAC may report? So that's a very detailed report that he put together. And I was going to try to share a little bit of that during the committee report, but he put together a detailed report in all the categories. It shows if revenue came in country Haiti there, and then how the grant from FLM supported it and the differences, et cetera. So as I said, I had not seen this before, so I think this is very, very exciting to have this information.
Quick question. I was at a not dental, vision office this week, and they're using UV. I noticed that they're spraying to do the cleaning of the space. And I know that UV light is being used in some places to, like they use it overnight. I don't know if that's something the medical committee has thought about for the clinic or not, or if that's something that would even be useful there. But I thought it was pretty interesting that they use that. It's like a tower, and at night they run it, and that's what kind of sanitizes the office space through the night. So just the
I can address that real quick for you.
Okay.
It is an add-on, not a replacement for.
Okay.
You know, the deep cleaning that is done with bleach or related solutions. So I think that's like putting the Cadillac on a Volkswagen, if you know what I mean. You want to have the Volkswagen first.
So the cleaning is better. Yep.
Yes, the deep cleaning. There's no replacement for the deep cleaning in the COVID world and other types of bacteria and infections.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Just curious.
Thank you.
Sorry, James.
No, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So then we have the guest house support there for the interns and those activities. And then you could, Evans put a little nice report here. He says the work of the trainees reveals a capital importance to the students of MIPADEP. According to an interview that he had with one of the trainees, that the children improved in their learning. So this kind of information is really, really good just for us to get a glimpse of what's happening in the different categories. So I really, really appreciate the work and effort of Evans here.
Yeah, that's great. And getting that, in line with the work of going through, trying to get grants, any kind of evaluation like that we can get in writing or some kind of documentation is great, because it allows us to use that as leverage as we're writing grants. And so that's a good thing. So if the interns are able to document how they're seeing improvement in learning, that would be great.
So into MIPIDEP, so what really caught my eye here was that there's nothing in here for the team, because that's usually like over $2,000, and there's nothing in here for this month. And but it shows for the month of May, 6,500 dishes of hot were served, and so that's another nice report information to share and to know about, as far as the number of meals that were served as part of the school. So as I said earlier, I asked for a reduction. This is on row 38. I asked for a reduction of at least $1,000. And the numbers that Evan shared is really more on the ballpark of the 2,100 plus range that came forward.
James, let me just clarify. This deduction is explained by the fact that we're not sending money for canteen because of school closing.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, very
Thank
good.
you, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Oh, that's what you mentioned earlier, that did it close yesterday?
Supposed to, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So here's some numbers. These are, so you can see some numbers here for the walk, and these are really May numbers that will be reported in June for the shirts and printing, and then some of the typical fees here with the bank fees, the bookkeeping, those kind of activities. And so again, the bottom line number is 14,691. That's the projected need for the month of June, as of we're talking today. So any questions before I ask if you approve the report that I've shared with you this morning?
I think this is Sue. I think one issue needs to be addressed. If school is closed, we need to make a decision if we're going to continue to pay the teachers. In the past, when we've stopped paying the teachers, it's really put them in a very hard position of hardship. So I think we need to take a moment to discuss if we're going to continue to pay them during this time of closure.
Yeah, we must clarify. You're talking about the elementary teachers. So we have a commitment with them for 11 months. So I'm sure we should keep this commitment.
I'm really glad to hear that, Leanne. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
So will the number be in this 1,200 range, or will it be something different?
Next month it will be different because we will not have to pay literacy. That's minus 2,000.
Oh no, I was talking about for MIPIDEP. I was just following up from what for the teachers while they're out. Will the number be about 1,200 for the teachers, not the literacy center?
Yeah,
okay.
For the teachers, we'll still keep that for
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions before I ask if you would approve the report as I shared with you?
Thank you for bringing some friends to the walk.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You should have got a donation too from the nursing home that my mother's at as well.
Yes, we did.
Okay, good.
And then we're getting closer to some of the one that you brought over. I have a couple for dinner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's very nice. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that news. So,
okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think some of them are interested in becoming board members or work with the FLM board. I don't know which way, but you can talk to them and see what their
Okay.
interest will be.
Oh, I'm happy to hear this. Okay. So anyone would like to make this motion?
I so move that we accept James Bryant report with gratitude.
I second. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
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 I guess I can second. Okay, perfect.
Aye.
Gotta unmute before you talk.
And Jim Bryant, James,
Yes.
the coupons that you bought, I gave it to the lady that helped us with the t-shirts at the
Oh,
table.
thank you. Okay.
Because we needed some more help and she came in and helped us out.
Yeah, that was really nice. We needed the help. Thank you.
Excellent,
Thanks.
excellent.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, James. Funds for Haiti, as always, you can mail that. You can do it electronically on the donate for the on the FLM website, but every month support is needed. So we will move on to the banquet for 2021. Russell.
So we, Bishop has our speaker. We're going to talk more about the theme. We have the date, as you can see, as you know, and we have a contract from the hotel that we need to look at. And I'll share that with Bishop and James and some of the committee. One of the issues that we have to deal with is doing it both virtually and live. So it'll be, I would imagine we would look at a hybrid like we did the walk. There are added expenses with that, as we most likely have shown with the walk. We had to do some updates on the website, doing some other things as we did as we do a virtual plus a live. So that's the issue. And we need a committee that will work with the virtual and also work with the live. But I would imagine that this time we should be able to do a lot of what we need to do right on site, more like a broadcast, and less as people walking from their homes. I know there was glitches when you try to do it from different locations. And so I think it being at a central point will be important. Bishop can give us the name of the speaker. He did give me that, but I don't have those notes in front of me. And then we will be working with Bishop on the theme. And, that's really about it. We just need your support. I would emphasize, as we've worked on these things with other people, that still your strength still seems to be in the live participation, okay? So we're going to encourage as much live participation with all the social, I think they have it set up here in their agreement with social distancing and things like that. All those things will stay in place. However, the ability to broadcast it wider gives us more participation. But I really would encourage as many people as possible to attend because we're finding that only certain groups are doing well in doing everything all virtual. And even mixed group things don't do as well as live things, okay? So when it comes to finances, when you're raising funds. So that's basically it about the banquet. As you know, we will be getting an invitation out in September. And the banquet is on October 22nd. And we would charge the same amount of money. We find even those that come virtually, if they understand the cost, if they're in, the cause or they're connected with somebody, they have no problem paying the same amount as those who come live. They'll just get a bigger tax deduction if they're into tax deductions, things, but we want to make our goals. We're going to reach our goals, our financial goals.
What will the ticket price be?
I think we were, last year we were 60.
Yeah. Russell, what is the capacity of, on site?
Well, when I talked to them earlier in the year, they talked about 80, but now they're looking at 100. And they would be able to keep the tables. So they're going to stay within the COVID perimeters, even though right now they're really open. They, if you go to many restaurants, they're full. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I was just saying that from a standpoint of, I think what our capacity at the last live was about 180.
Yes.
Somewhere around there. So just trying to get a sense of how that compares.
Yeah. And as we get closer, they may change that and give us more opportunity, but right now, and they do have, a donation, not a donation, a payment schedule. And we usually talk with them and they work with us as long as we give them, okay. And I already gave them an okay that we were moving ahead.
And how much did you say per ticket? I'm sorry, I missed that.
60.
Okay, that's okay. Thank you. That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Russell, the speaker is in South Carolina. I think we should make a decision. Are we going to have him to come in person to Pittsburgh at the cost, or are we going to have him on Zoom? I think we should start wrestling with this issue.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, we know that by 2022, we'll probably be open, or we're hoping it to be open. America to be more open. So would that not be a draw for folks here? Maybe.
Now, I was talking about this year's banquet.
I'm sorry, not 2022?
No, we're not there yet. We gotta get through.
We're not there yet. We're on
I'm
this
so
year's
sorry.
banquet.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Well, this year's banquet, wouldn't it be virtual?
Yeah, well, we're doing, some of the people we're dealing with now are doing live events. They just could not wait. As soon as they were told that we could go live, they went live. I would imagine that we should ask him to come. I don't know how long it would take him to get here. If I remember, Bishop, you mentioned that he had, he is from Pittsburgh. So
does that mean that we would provide a plane ticket for him?
It matters how close Bishop and him are. Maybe we just ask him to come.
With a plane ticket.
No, he could drive from there.
I cannot ask him to drive from here,
No, it's up. It's up to. We'll have to get that cost, Bishop. If we can look into that, maybe we can find someone that is working for the airlines that can give us a
study ticket.
Yeah.
We just have to start early to find a good ticket,
Yes.
Yeah.
If he's coming with his family, he's gonna have to pay by himself.
No.
And then his dinner.
What
is the cost per plate? Like if the tickets are 60, what is the venue going to charge us per person? Did you say?
What we try to do is get that plate to about half. So I just negotiate with them and try, to get make sure that plate cost is, between 20 and 30, and try to make sure all those costs are interacted. My concept is either technically, if we could swing it, I'd have that ticket at $75 and still get a $30 plate. But that's what we do. That's, you know, so we're looking at keeping that meal under 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 100 plates or 100 people that could come. So if it's 30, then it's $3,000 we'd make on the banquet plus sales, art, and.
Yeah, we're looking at sales, art, and sponsorships. Like we've already began a process right now with Benita. We are filling out some forms with some of the organization. Well, we have one form that we're in process, and she has it already started, but they needed more detail. They needed to know the location. They needed all these information that we're just getting together now because of COVID. And so once we get all that entered in, she'll upload that to them. And this is how some of these organizations are doing. But we are going to form a ask sheet or to ask companies directly how to, if they would they participate. Some of you have seen it before. We have this sponsorship form. Right now, some of the organizations are not necessarily asking not just about your cause, but who's attending your event, okay? They want to know who your, who your audience is. So I want to start looking at demographics of our audience and our board. Not that I'm going to ask all your incomes or whatever, but we want to know, because right now, I've been discussing with people. So why does people really support the Mellons organization? Well, it's because of the people that are there. So I have clients that will support Albert Schweitzer but won't support FLM. Well, Albert Schweitzer has certain income levels showing up to their event, certain corporate people. And so people are actually coming there for that, not necessarily for the cause. So we have a mixture of people coming for different reasons, and we need to identify, maybe like insurance people would like to, if our group is a higher age range, maybe some insurance companies would be more likely to be a co-sponsor. So I'm trying to do those type of things besides the cost. Now the cost goes along with grant writing and everything, but from my standpoint, there are people that will support us according to who's showing up and who is on our list. Okay. And I've got to find a way to get that information without being invasive.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think that if we're having 100 people at the banquet in person, having the speaker there might be more effective than having them watch a monitor. So we're going to have to still have, because we're going to have monitoring, and I guess there's 6 in one hand, half of the other. We have to do monitor and equipment anyway. So that equipment's going to be there. And then it's just a matter of what's more effective in terms of the ask and in terms of the draw, is having a speaker there or having a speaker on a monitor. And it seems to me that a in-person speaker for the first time that we're in person again is going to be more effective. But
so are we assuming that let me just ask, what are we putting in the budget to offer him in terms of a gratuity or an honorarium, or just what?
Well, I don't think we're going to offer him any money. I should say something about him. Reverend Tolliver and his wife, they have been for more than 30 years. We can count on the donation of $100 a month. And I think for this alone, we should give them a plaque, of appreciation on supporting our ministry. So,
okay. So there's no honorarium for him. We'll give him a plaque. Maybe we'll buy him a ticket to come if he wants, or pay him mileage if he's driving from South Carolina.
No, let's just say, let's do it right, the right way, which is, let's give him a ticket and pay one night at the hotel.
Okay.
If you said, no, I don't need it, then that would be fine. But I think we should do it.
Offer it, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And again, I think the banquet committee will make these kind of decisions in their committee meetings and have, grapple with what's going to be best for the event at the time. And so I think everyone's input here is going to be useful for them to really come to some decisions about what's going to be best for the event.
Mhm.
What was the name of the speaker again?
It's a Reverend Robert Tolliver, Toliver.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sure.
I have a question again. Do you consider YouTube? Because my granddaughter just graduated from Ellis and it was on YouTube. It was broadcast live YouTube and you could see it very well too. So what's the difference between the YouTube and the Zoom? Because I've been viewing things in Tobago on YouTube and it's coming across very well. Is it expensive? Is it a different process or Facebook Live or whatever?
No, I think that's just a platform. So it's just, if we stream it, it sounds like what Russell is thinking and hoping for the for streaming live on is actually having equipment on site to stream on site. So rather than, and then you can then take that and live stream that to Facebook Live. You can live stream it to multiple platforms at one time. So if we have camera equipment at the venue, we can literally stream live from the venue. So it takes away some of the technical considerations that have to happen when you're trying to stream remote. That's how I would address that. Russell, you?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So, so I think we just have to start moving ahead and looking at moving these, moving these items along, which includes, finding some help with the live streaming, working on the bank, our speaker and our theme, and really just pushing it out. And we have to look at sponsorships because many groups are not dependent upon group tickets anymore to raise money. They're looking for that sponsor. So maybe we can get a sponsor to say, I will take on the cost of bringing the speaker in, or another sponsor to say, I will take care of all the meal costs. So I'll buy 100 meals. And then our artwork or whatever else that we sell can be helpful. And of course we do our appeal. And so we have several items in several ways to do that. And I think if we make sure the speaker, and Dr. Dyer has done a great job in encouraging our speakers to stay on give them some talking points, and they actually make it easier to do the fundraising at the end.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I have about the banquet at this point.
It's excellent. It's exciting.
Thank you.
That as we start to move from, doing it 100% virtual to being able to have these hybrids that then take us into being able to be full-time live again. That's pretty great. So thank you, Russell. As we move on, let's go to the calendar of activities.
Yeah, just before Russell leaves, if we encourage board members to help us with the sponsorship, maybe make a commitment of getting 2-3 ads for us, or we usually ask board members to help us with the tickets. Some take 10, or I think that should be very effective to our success.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll hope to have the tickets after we do a couple things. We'll have the tickets ready, maybe even have them before the invitations come out. And then, of course, since we're doing virtual, we'll have to mail things to you. Okay.
Very good.
Thank
But
you.
you're hoping the
Bishop.
majority of the board is going to be live. I mean, in person.
Yes, because we find that very helpful. Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Now, as we are in this issue, we're talking about calendars of activities. Can we identify a date when we will be so happily be back together? Let's say October or September. Is that too early to think like that?
I think October, November would be, I think if people are vaccinated, we're getting together now. So I think October, November, I think things will be even better by then. I mean, things can certainly change, but I think that that would be a safe time for people who are vaccinated who feel comfortable to get together.
Thank you, Dr. Mawai.
I agree we'll be able to do that. But I have a question. Would we still offer the Zoom capability? Because for myself, I don't get home until very late Friday night, and I would have a 4-hour drive. I don't know that I could do that.
No, definitely we love you, and we will keep it.
I could just even do call-in, if I could even call in, that would be great.
Yes.
I think that will be good because for me, I moved a little farther away, so it's still a 3-hour drive. So it's pretty much impossible for me in the wintertime. So we have the technology, so I think we can figure out a way to continue virtual and in person.
Very good.
Thank you.
Sure.
Is it a Friday? I'm in trouble.
No. I just said that I get home late Friday night, like midnight usually, from my flight, and so I don't think I could get up at like 4 o'clock then.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Go ahead, Russell.
So yeah, I think we'll continue to do as we are up until that time, and then we'll have hybrid meetings. I think it's going to be this just expands our reach. So I'm glad to see it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'll be virtual too. Is it a Friday? That's what I'm asking.
No, we'll still do our meetings on the second Saturdays.
No, I mean, is the banquet on a Friday?
Oh.
Friday, October 22nd, please.
It's a Friday. Oh,
Friday,
so I won't be in
October
good shape.
22nd. Thank you.
I'll be dormant. Okay. I'll be virtual.
Okay. Okay. So then for our calendar of activities, Molly, can you project that? Or I can just go through them. Let's see. So we did our virtual walk in May. The Heart for Art, I should say art, not at. Ken Neely and Neely Brothers art exhibit, virtual art exhibit began June 1st and will run all the way through the 30th. This again, 20% of the proceeds do go to, will come to FLM. So supporting this initiative brings funds to us. And so the artwork is great. We know and love Ken. And so I would recommend that everyone, if you've not been on the portal, to go ahead, go on the portal. There's some nice pieces on there that you certainly, will nicely find a nice home in your homes or your offices or wherever you choose to put them. So absolutely, if you need to have the link, we can resend that to everyone to be able to go on to the and browse the gallery. Like I said, the pieces are nice. Once you do browse and you like something, you do need to let Ken know by liking that piece. That is what alerts him that this piece is a piece for someone that is affiliated with FLM, so that 20% proceeds will come directly, or I wouldn't say directly, but will be allocated to FLM. So does everyone have the link and know how to get onto the link for the virtual art show? I just want to, if you can kind of give me a show of hands, that way I know if we need to send that out to everybody again.
Will you send it out to everyone, please?
Yep, we're going to send that out to everyone. So
thank you.
Okay, maybe we can meet at this restaurant. Okay. Just looking at Irv's comment in the thing. So I will get that, send that out to everyone. Obviously, medical missions for the summer have been postponed due to COVID and the current state in Haiti. Molly, do you have any update on the virtual?
Yeah, well, the virtual was going to be gathering teachers together, so that will be no. But
Okay.
I'm working on trying to figure out a way, and I'll ask her help with this, to try to see if we can, as a board, and maybe just other people, send out letters of encouragement, how we can get them to the teachers. Even if it's just to our own school, it would be great to send them to all the teachers who would have been coming. So if anybody has any thoughts on how we can do that, I think that would be a very good thing.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Banquet, obviously, we talked about October 22nd with invitations going out the 20th or earlier, and our mid-November Christmas appeal. And we're going to try then, it looks like, to incorporate a hybrid meeting in there around October, November for our board meeting. So we'll put that just back in there just as a nice to have. And, assuming that we continue to open up the way we are, things continue to go the way they are. And then obviously, again, our board fellowship in December, during our meeting.
Can I make a pitch? If we are gonna, for the October meeting, and I don't know how other people would feel about this, because I'd like to try to come from Boston to the banquet. If we're meeting in person, to have it be after the banquet, if that's not too much to ask, but that way I'd already be in town and would love to be in person with you all. So just something to throw out there.
Okay, so you're thinking that, so what I hear you saying is that, can we move our October meeting to the 23rd?
Yes.
That would be helpful.
Okay, that's a great idea. How does everyone feel about moving the October meeting to the 23rd instead of,
Usually, Betty, if we have the meeting at the right time, this is a moment for us to galvanize and finalize our last banquet.
Okay, so that wouldn't work out. Okay.
It's wise to keep it as is.
at the 16th or the 9th. So it would be the 9th. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. One more thing, Betty, concerning of activities. What I've noticed, people respond when you reach out to them. Like if you're having the work, you send a mailing and they respond. However, between now and October, if we don't have any kind of correspondence with our audience, with our supporters, it will be a little bit hard for the in terms of fundraising. So I don't know if we can, do we have a newsletter or something we should send out? This is June, maybe in July or August.
August, yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
Just tell them we have been thinking of you. Please think about us also,
Excuse me.
Yes, you see what I'm driving at?
Yeah. There's one thing that I've been thinking about. I think I mentioned it a while ago. The concept of having a really almost like a phone-a-thon, or you could send a letter, but you send something out in the summer just thanking people for their support. Okay, maybe we'll thank them for the support of the walk. It might remind some to do something, but we're not even asking. I call it a thank-a-thon. You send out a letter of thanks, you make some phone calls of thanks, and you say, we're just so glad, you have been a part of us. Maybe a letter can come from Bishop. And then we mentioned coming up. These are the things that are coming up. We don't ask for any money yet because we're not sending out the invitation, but we're just keeping that, you know, before us. We don't necessarily need to do a newsletter if, you know, it's going to take a long time, but we could do a letter within a couple, you know, Bishop, you can write I'm telling you how quickly you can write a letter. But you can write, we could write a letter and just send it out and just say, thank you. I know we have needs, but just say thank you. And I would like to see us, you know, some members of the committee or the board, including myself and Bishop, get on the phone and call the people up that have been supporting us and just say thank you, not ask for anything. We just want to thank you for your support over the years for FLM Haiti.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I'm time driven. Can we set a date for that? Can we say it's going to be end of July, let's say?
I agree with that. Yes.
You agree?
Yes.
Okay.
I like deadlines. Thank you, Bishop.
Absolutely. Now, if we, I think that's a great idea as well. Do we have does our mailing list include phone numbers?
Yes, some of them, some of the list does have phones. Some, you know, we do have some phone numbers.
Okay, because I would say that probably is going to be something that we need to, because I know when we were trying to do a text blast, the list that I had didn't have any phone numbers on it. So, and the text blast works well when you have phone numbers on that list. So, if we're between now and then, what we need to do is scrub our mailing list. And if you know people on that list and you have a phone number on there, we need to get those phone numbers on there to make the call-a-thon most effective. Otherwise, we'll have a list, but we won't have phone numbers. So we've got to make sure we can do that before the end of July. But I love the idea.
So if I understand, we're going to do both writing a letter and a call-a-thon?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
A thank-a-thon. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, love it. So we'll add that to. I'm sorry, Mother.
Thank you. That will help me because writing thank you note for all those people is hard on me.
Okay, absolutely. So then are we looking at a date of on a Saturday afternoon, a Friday evening? Let's look at a date we want to put on for the end of July.
Oh,
so we have July has 30 days in it. Friday the 30th is the last day in July.
July has 31 days.
Well, let's do it on the 31st of July, Saturday. Or we can do both 30 and 30th. 30 and 31st for the calls, and then the mailing. What
I'm saying is there's not 31 days in July. There's only 30 days in July.
No.
There's 31 days in July.
Bernie.
Wait a second. I'm looking. I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking at August. I'm like,
June.
where? No, I'm
Bernie.
looking at July.
Come on now.
Hold on. I'm sorry. There's 31 days. Sorry, guys.
There's 31 days in August too in New York.
31 days. Gotcha. Sorry, guys. I'm looking at this and I'm like, wait a second. All right. So we're thinking of Friday the 30th and July 30th and then Saturday.
Yeah, that's it for the calls.
And then are we going to do it at a certain time?
Well, got to be early evening. Let's say, can we say 7? From 7 on?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So July 30th, from 7 to 9. I don't think you should call people past 9 o'clock. And then July 31st, also from 7 to 9.
Yes.
Okay. Or maybe we can even start a little bit earlier on
that Saturday.
On that Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
okay.
And so, Bishop, if you and I can talk and we can work out that letter can actually go out before then, maybe even mid-month. But we can get that letter ready, and it'll just be a simple letter in an envelope, and go from there.
That will be good, boss.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just a little confused about how are the calls going to be? I mean, Bert, they're going to be text messages, they're going to be in-person calls. I'm just confused what you're doing.
Okay, we're doing in-person calls. You would, so we would divide up our list, those that we have numbers to,
Okay.
among those who are willing to make the calls, and you would just call, call those numbers, and if they have a message, you just leave them a message and say, I am, Russell Bynum from FLM Haiti. I just want to thank you for all your support over the years. We are, we just want to let you know we have a banquet coming up on October 22nd, but we just thank you for all your past support. And
Yeah.
we're done. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think that we can create a script for that so that everybody has the same verbiage.
Yes.
Yes.
And then that way.
And we want to keep it simple and quick.
Simple. Yep. Keep it very simple. And then everybody has the same verbiage, everybody's getting the same thing. And obviously, part of that, is to be, if you might get some people who are going to want to have a conversation or talk or whatever, obviously. So after that, that's perfectly fine. But I think the script will unify it.
I don't want to throw any water on your bubble, but I think if you sent a newsletter out and thank the people and do whatever, because people hate being called. I called a guy to get a job done. He just was so upset. People are tired of calls, so they don't want to hear you calling them.
It's true.
Well, I think that I agree with that, but I don't think FLM has done this before. And we've got supporters who have supported year after year after year. So it's not that we're asking them for anything. It literally is just saying thank you to them and just letting them know what's coming up. So I agree, because I do, I've been, over COVID, I've been doing a lot of insurance stuff over the phone. And I agree with you. You definitely get people who are just like, will hang up on you. But I think that this might be a little bit different just, because since we have the letter going out, but I think it's just, we've not done this before to our donor base. And I think it's probably long overdue.
Yeah, I just think it's important. I know Cornerstone does it, and they find it to be very helpful. Or even they call up and theirs is automated. They're basically just saying, these are what we're praying about. And then people are, family or friends, I got a call from Crystal. I'm like, okay, but and people love it.
Yeah.
But let me say this, Russell and Bertie, I agree with both of you. People do like it. However, I remember contributing to Cornerstone and received a phone call. Thank you so much. And I'm thinking, well, you really didn't need this call. I mean, fine. What Berna said, no, I really didn't feel like I needed a call, nor did I really want one, but I was polite. And, it's a recorded message, so you finish. Then I hear a recorded message the next week, the same thing. So we just have to make sure we're not duplicating such. Because then after that, I said, you know what? I really don't want to hear from Cornerstone anymore.
Yeah. Well, this won't be recorded. This will be live. So I can imagine someone that haven't heard from Bishop in a while, hearing him call and just say thank you. I think that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's a big difference whether it's a recorded or an in-person.
Yes.
I agree.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is right.
Yeah. I don't want to spend real long on this, so we're ready. Thank you, everyone.
I just wanted to tell Bishop, I'm going to give you all of my phone calls, Bishop, because I'm sure they'd love to hear from you rather than me. So thank you. I'm just moving on now.
Okay.
Doing that myself.
All right.
Great
Great idea, Bishop.
For people.
Say that again.
I've been doing that.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Like the people for the T-shirt, when I call them, I said,
thank you.
But then Roselle, you can have my list too. Thank you.
Well, then I am corrected, stand corrected when I say it's long overdue. So thank you, Mother, for always being the
wind beneath the wings.
Yes, absolutely. So we pray, we appreciate that.
Okay. Sure. So back to the point, everyone. Those who are willing to do the calls, just let us know so we can move forward. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
We'll send out an email requesting volunteers.
Okay.
All right. Boston chapter. Is Susie still on your, or? Is she,
So Susie had to step out.
Okay.
Yep. So you want me to talk about banquet?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Boston is, we're having conversations about having a banquet also, not to conflict with what Pittsburgh is doing. And so far, one idea that we have talked about is doing something in memory of Mother Maggie.
Nice.
Mhm.
What date you talking about?
The date that we had thrown out is the week before, so October 16th, I believe. I'm just gonna pull it up. Yes, October 16th. We threw that out there. Because Mother Maggie usually has it closer to her birthday, which is October 20th.
Very good.
So we will be talking it over. Bishop, you'll probably get a call, as we would love for you to be one of our speakers. So more to come. We just started throwing out ideas at our last meeting, and we will be discussing it more and coming up with a plan.
Thank you.
Sure.
Excellent, thank you. Fundraising committee, for the fundraising committee, we are obviously working on the virtual art presentation. And again, for this initiative with the phone-a-thon, it's something we've talked about. So Russell, if you want, we can spearhead that, because it's definitely something that we had talked about as well. And then we can, like I said, send out an email to get the volunteers, find out if we have that email packet that, or not email, but if how many phone numbers we have on our mailing list, and then send it out amongst the board members so that they can get any more numbers on there. That would be helpful, because the more phone numbers we have, the more calls we can make. So that would be very useful. And then we'll go from there. I know for you, James, you've already talked through the one report that you were saying you wanted to talk through for the Finance Committee report, but do you have anything else that you'd like to add?
I do.
Okay, then you have the floor, sir.
Okay, let me pull this back up here. Let's see. Can you see my screen?
I gotta stop share myself.
Okay.
Just a second here. Sorry, hit a wrong button.
Can you see this now or no?
Yes, it's
Let me see. Okay, so real quick, as I mentioned in the earlier conversation, Evans put together this additional detail on the May report. Can you see this?
It's real small. We can't see it. Well, I can't make it out, but
okay,
others might be able to. Okay,
how's that?
that's better.
Yeah, so I'm not going to go into any details here. Just wanted to let you know. So it shows, this is for the month of May. So it shows the money that comes or came in from FLM Haiti, money that came in from Haiti from different operations, and you can see some of the differences in some cases. So there's a lot to look at. I think it was Irv sent a message saying there's a lot to look at here. So what I would ask is, as you go through this, and if you have questions, send them all to me, so we could all do them together with Evans, rather than somebody sending a question to him or calling him or something. And then somebody else asking the same kind of question. So if I could ask if you can just send them to me, and then we could set up a time to talk about it if you have any questions on it. Okay, so now let me share something else. So this here is the second part of the report. For some reason, I don't see my, oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, can you see this? It says financial
Yes.
committee topics.
Yes.
How's this look?
A bit bigger. Yep. Better.
So I want to talk to the second bullet here. So I had a chance to have a conversation with, her name is Vivian Luke. She's the executive director of Do Work. This is the organization, some of you all know, it's in Pittsburgh, and they have two operations. They have a for-profit operation, and they have a not-for-profit operation called Do Work. The for-profit's the one that makes made things out of recycled plastics, like bags and all kind of materials from recycled plastic. Anyways, I had a good conversation with her talking about some of the things that they're doing. What prompted my attention and what prompted me to call her was I got an email that they send out. They do this, they called it to run across Haiti. But due to COVID, they really had to do it in the US. And so the email said something like they had a $60,000 matching donation challenge. And so when I saw that, I said, I need to talk to her about what's happening with them, because I mean, $60,000 donation, like a matching donation. So what I mean by this is somebody or some individuals basically put together their funds and said, if you match this, we're gonna match up to $60,000 in a sense. So we talked about it, and it was, and you can see in the email here a little snippet that I did a screenshot on, and it talks about this was their recycling partner in Haiti. This company pitched in X thousands of dollars. This individual pitched in thousands of dollars, and this family pitched in thousands of dollars, and then an anonymous donor. And so we talked about that and how they did that, and reaching out to certain individuals that they've been working with. And this organization is much younger than FLM Haiti. They've only been around just a few years, I mean, less than 10, I'd say, overall. And so they've had really garnered some relationships with some organizations and individuals that have really been able to support a lot of the things they're doing. And the fact that they're a for-profit organization, they have a lot of connections with certain entities and organizations that help and support some of the activities that they do. So we talked about some of that and some things that maybe some takeaways for us as well. And so we were talking about the whole COVID situation there in Haiti, and how it's impacting her community, their community there in Haiti, and us. And we were talking that same thing, that it's really impacting those communities there in a major way as it is ours. And in addition to this, the view that they're taking is they're taking a very conservative view with their finances right now because of uncertainty. And I mentioned to her that we had some, initially we were getting some very strong donations, but it seems like those numbers have really tapered a bunch. And we were thinking some of it has to do, I think, is people here in the States, they had a little bit of income, I guess, and they didn't lose their jobs. They had some income that they had in place because they were not going out to eat and those kind of things. And so now as people are moving around more, maybe that's some of the reason why some of the numbers are going down, but not sure exactly. And then we talked about what they've done is, she used this term upgrade. And so what they did was they went to their list of donors that have been supporting them, and they asked them to consider upgrading. So what I mean by this is, so for example, myself, I'm sending X dollars a month. And of course, I give money other times as well, but I have a standard amount that I've been giving for several months now, even over a year. And so they approached these individuals and said, hey, would you consider upgrading? This could be $25 more a month or something like that. And she said, based on their approach, their strategy, she said they have had an over 70% success rate. So some individuals gave, okay, I'm giving $100 now, I'm going to give 125 now going forward. Some other individuals said, hey, I'm just going to double what I'm giving to support your work, because we know what you're doing, we know it's important. And so just wanted to share that with you, to think about, we want to do something like this. I know we just talked about the thank you calls, but this is, I guess we don't want to do this at the same time, but this is something to consider as well. We have these longtime donors that have been giving the same amount for year after year. Let's maybe consider asking, would they consider upgrading and providing a little bit more support, since, I mean, if you consider that somebody has been giving, say, $50 over 30 years, I mean, today, $50 is now, what you had $50 30 years ago, now is going to take you $100 today, in a sense, for that same spending power. So it's a strategy, and in their case, it did work. And so we're going to continue these kind of conversations, just to sort of brainstorm and talk about some things like this. And just to give you some perspective on their particular operations and what their costs, I mean, their revenues are, et cetera. And I don't want to put this into the minutes, Molly, but they're at about $1 million a year as far as the amount of income that they have coming in for their particular nonprofit. They're at about $1 million a year, she told me. And they have full-time staff. So there's a completely different model where they have full-time staff to do a lot of these things. We talked about things that we do as a pretty much almost volunteer organization, that some of these things, as Russell knows, these relationships that we want to cultivate, they take months and months, and it's just a challenge for us, being all volunteer, to culture and nurture these kind of relationships that someone that's doing it full time can really focus and hone in on some of these efforts. But just wanted to share this with you, and as I said, I'm going to continue having some more conversations with them, because we both thought it was very useful to both of us. And then as I gather more information over the next time periods, I'll share it with you. Any questions on this?
Depend of your social people that you know, people that make a lot of money, you associate with them, they will be easily giving you more. But if you have people that only work for minimum wages and trying the best to make it to help you out, it's hard to ask them for a raise. But you never know. It's just a gamble.
Yeah, that's what she said basically, was that we didn't, we just suggested this and said we didn't know what the outcome was going to be, but it turned out very positively.
Right.
And so in some cases it could have been just $10, $15, $25 more a month in donations, but in other cases it was some substantial numbers came in from certain individuals that were able to support even more.
Yeah, we have a Bishop Penfield have a monthly letter, people that gave every month regularly. We send them a thank you letter every month, and he encouraged them on that way also. From what we're doing in Haiti.
Yeah.
For that have people that give $50 or $45 up, we send them a thank you note every time. But people that give below 45, I sometimes send letters, but sometimes it's kind of, if you have a walk or a banquet, it's a lot to say thank you to every one of those people that give you $45. So that's why it's good to send a thank you letter and finish with them.
Yeah. Well, can I mention something? James, I really appreciate what you're doing here. I think this is very important. So what, maybe after we get done with the thankathon and, give ourselves a little bit of time after the banquet, send an appeal and ask people, do you want to step it up a little? I think that's excellent. And I really like their concept of having I've been reading some things about organizations that have that business model and the donation model, which we're working under. And in fact, one group works with helping people start little businesses within their community. And I think those are things that we should investigate over time. But I really do appreciate this because this is important.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks, James. I was even thinking that maybe for our, along with our Christmas or appeal, or end of the year appeal, we do a telethon where we're asking people, if the telethon goes well, the thankathon goes well, then maybe in December, November, December, we do it as it's around the holidays, people are in a giving spirit. It might be a good time to ask people to consider, in 2022, increasing their donation.
Yeah.
So,
that could be done with the appeal letter. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So,
well, I was thinking even if we did send the appeal letter out and then do a telethon, have two touches that way before the end of the year, it might increase that amount of giving. I think to his point, 70% of the people that they touched actually increased. So even if it's 50%, it's whatever. The whole idea of it is that putting that personal touch on there could be effective. But I like the idea as well.
Thanks. So, Bishop, I'm gonna bring this up again about the Building Goodness Foundation. I know earlier you said it's probably not a good idea to approach them, but what about if we carefully position it such that it's just going to focus on the infrastructure related activities for this accreditation? Because as I looked at what was shared earlier, some of this has to do with infrastructure itself, and as this goes forward, there's going to be some infrastructure impacts that will take place in order to get the certification. So just wanted to plant another seed on that topic, and you can think about it.
Okay, Jim. But
okay.
Just remember, building goodness is just like FLM. They're looking for funds. That's what they're doing for the projects. The fundraisers like us.
Yeah, they asked me to donate.
They don't have funds to give out, to give away. Okay.
Oh well, I mean, I could say, on the other hand, though, we had that great donation for the generator and all that. That was substantial. So that they have access to certain kind of individuals, I think, that may support certain activities or certain causes.
Okay, let's keep it on the table.
Okay, so the last thing here is we talked about this Edward Jones portfolio, and I had shared a survey with you and wanted to get your perspective on what types of strategy or what risk tolerance level would you be comfortable with. So we never did really settle on this. So what I did was I just submitted, I picked position B. So you can see the spectrum from left to right goes from very, very conservative to D is very, very aggressive, very, very lot of risk. And so I said, let's just put something together if we were to take a position B strategy, for example. And so with this, hopefully they'll put together something and I could share it at the next meeting. So with this said, nothing is going to change with with respect to the mix of the portfolio investment at this time, but this is just this forward, the conversation forward, that if we were to take this position B, sort of a growth in kind of what would this look like, and what are the risks and what are the potential rewards of doing it? So, any questions on this? Okay, well, that's all I have to for my committee report.
Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
James, a quick question. You said you did pick the B risk, or you're looking at picking the B risk?
No, I said let's put together something if we were to want to be in the B position. So what I mean by put together something is just identify what the mix of the investment would look like if we were to have a B strategy. So that's what I did.
Say that again. I'm still not quite sure what you did.
Okay, so you know this is the Edward Jones account. It has some money in it.
Have you done any action, or you just want us to think about it? That's the question.
No, okay, so yeah, I took some action, but nothing to impact the investment itself. What I did was I raised a question or a hypothetical with them to say, if we were to position ourselves in position B, what would this look like for the account? So it's just a hypothetical. Nothing's going to change. No investments are going to move, but it's a hypothetical question to have them come back with a response that says, okay, if you were in position B compared to where you're at now, this is what it would look like.
Okay, and where are we at now?
That's what I was going to ask. So we're basically at a savings with an interest rate of return that puts us at A. I guess there's a question.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably somewhere between A and B. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you. That helps.
Okay.
All right, thanks so much, James. We're going to move on to the 40th anniversary committee report.
Do you have a screen share?
Yes. Yep.
And thank you. Molly, are you doing the screen share, or are you
There it is.
Oh, thank you so much. Everyone, today it's now, as you know, this is June 11th. And in 5 months, we'll be finishing 2021, hard to believe, and starting 2022. And that will, of course, begin our 40th celebration of functional literacy ministry. Not very far, so I'd like us to just look at the things that you committed to, or in this case, said that you would do last meeting and the meeting before, and just take a little 5 minutes total for this report to just take a little view of where we are. If you look at the second page, please. The FLM history, thank you, Dr. Dyer, for agreeing to chair this. And we said that by the June meeting that we would have a guiding template or an outline created by Dr. Dyer to look at history as we go through and look at some things here. Medical mission, Dr. McGuire, thank you for serving as a lead to getting some things to that. Under that, there were some categories of healthcare, blood pressure, women's health care with the gynecology and obstetrics, dental care, laboratory, and patient education. Those are areas that we want to think about, or what we as a group put down for the FLM history. The education mission, and let me say, Molly and Susan, I omitted your names as the lead there, but I want to put that as we move forward, and thank you. The literacy centers, the summer teacher training, professional development, the MIPADEC school, the Excelsior, and the kindergarten program. These are all those that the FLM history may have some story, if you will. And then the ministerial training mission, the Rhonda Johnson and Reverend Giles were suggested as leads. So we want to look at that. And then the journalism mission, where Dr. Dyer, or let me just say, I put your name as lead. I don't know if that's the case, but all of this comes under the FLM history. So to that end, that's where we are, to just solidify it as we are in June, because we really do have to get moving, and we're hoping that by August, no later than the September meeting, you will have met with your committee and kind of got some things going. I guess the real issue to this is that FLM board cannot burn itself out and just being the people moving this 40th anniversary. We really have to call on those who have served on mission trips before, or those who have served as givers or contributors, and of course the AAC board. I just see no participation there from the AAC, and I think Evans needs to be on this 40th anniversary committee in a very visible kind of way, which leads us to number 2, item 2, past and present partnerships and collaborations. Will you just move that up a little bit, Molly, so we can, James Bryant and Evans, he was the one recommended. What is Evans' last name, please?
She's F-R-E-J as in joy, U-S-T-E.
Thank you. Well, these are the co-chairs to talk about partnerships. And I guess, Jim, to mention your partnership again, Building Goodness, Dave Matthews Band, this was mentioned at some time, all the churches that participate, the New York partnership, the Boston partnership, and the California partnership. But what's missing is that AAC Haiti partnership. I'm hoping, as we said, we wanted to have him on the phone, either, for this meeting, if we can make a concerted effort to get him on the telephone, and to kind of talk with him and set some collaborative kinds of things where he participates as a representative of the AAC. To do this for Haiti without Haiti, I just think is so mindless and just so, it's meaningless. We need to engage our Haitian brothers and sisters in this 40th celebration. So that's where we are with that. Number 3, the future, FLM future, Dr. Moran and Dr. Panfield, you agreed to serve as co-chairs. And when we talk about the events what are going to happen during 2020, the expansion, the building the future, it was laid out such, we're excited about listening to that. Again, AAC really does need to participate there and become a part of the FLM future for Haiti. The 4th one, and finally, is the year-long event of celebration. Verna, you agreed that you would co-chair that. And in looking at that, probably we need to know what do we plan for the year-long event celebration. We know the gala is one. And then the community conversations was mentioned as another. That was for Evans, looking at it was suggested that he do this looking at Haiti. But again, we've not heard any buy-in from him. And I think it's just a matter of contacting him and really getting him engaged in the meetings or so. And folks down there on that AAC board to become engaged in this 40th anniversary. By June 2021, by June, we agreed that we'd have some sort of AAC contact. We agreed that we need a timeline of milestones for this anniversary. We said that we needed a guiding template or outline created by Dr. Dyer. And then I wrote publishing design here, and I didn't know if that was the one that said whatever the logo would be, or what if there were a new thing that I wasn't quite sure. And then we talk about who the honorary chairman and the gala speaker would be. I think it was Russell's, and please, he'll finish this report. Russell mentioned that we'd like an honorary chairperson and a gala speaker for that time. Russell, do you have anything to add to that? And then we'll just open it up to everyone else, just if there's any question. Russell, do you have anything to add as a co-chair?
Yes, I'll add to that. Thank you, Dr. Talaferri. We just I think we have a lot to do, but I'm really pleased and especially what Dr. Rhonda has been doing to get us organized. As mentioned before in my report, I mentioned the fact that we had talked with the representative for Dr. Jeff Gardier, and he cannot be involved in the banquet itself, but I was thinking about if we actually did some type of roundtable, that he might be a moderator, he might be somehow involved. He is from Haiti, talking to his representative, and I just want to hold a conversation with him to see what we could do or if not do. But what he wanted me to do is from this meeting, get back to them and let them know what capacity what we want. There's a thing that we do with some people where we just list the name in a letterhead or in our invitation. These are names of people that support us or people that are supporters. And some people are just listing, they just do a name listing. So there's several ways we might find some other people that either can be honorary chairpersons or be a part of that list of supporters to the event. And so those are the kind of things that I would like to bring to him. Now, if someone has another suggestion on how he could be involved, we can do that. And then we can find out if he'll do things on a pro bono basis or whatever way he would do that. But she did go on our website and they felt that that there is a fit. So I don't know what that means. But if anybody have any other suggestions that we might ask him to be involved with, but I've seen him on.
What was the name, that name again, please?
Jeff Gardier. He's a psychologist, a minister, you know, a celebrity. He's been on, I've seen him on the Today Show. He's more or less like a contributor that these people bring on. And so, yeah, so that's it.
Well, is there anybody in Haiti or so? Again, I can't stress that we do not have participation from AAC, and at this time we need to get it. So moving forward, we do. Is there anyone from Haiti who might be a draw or something, or someone who we feel might be important there in addition to Dr. Gardier?
Mm-hmm.
That's just a thought.
Yeah.
Well, one that I have to say word for AAC. I plan to meet with them. I was supposed to meet with them this week, but it did not work out. We try. If at first you don't succeed, what do? Try and try again.
Oh, so, sure.
I'll try this week, and we'll share at the next meeting or before what evolve, what comes out of that meeting.
Okay, well, let me just ask this to the entire group. At the August meeting or September, what is your pleasure? We'd like to hear from each of these committees. You know, we don't want to say anything, but to have the FLM History Committee report, to have then the past and present partnerships and collaborations report, the FLM Future report, and the year-long event of celebration. Is that more that you will have met with the committee, gotten some folks on the committee from the public and such? Would that be more appropriate in August or September for everyone?
I know for our committee, we can't do it till September. I'll have a chance to interact with Leon at that before that.
Okay, September. Well, let me just ask this for everyone. Would at our September meeting, our board meeting, be an appropriate time for everyone in that it gives you plenty of summertime and just some other time to kind of get some things connected? And
sure. Let's settle for September.
Okay. All right.
Now, so, this plan and outline you just displayed there, is it available to all board members?
Yes. Why don't I just email it to everyone now?
Please do.
Okay. So everyone knows his or her part where you've signed up. We also have a couple board members whose name I don't see on here. When it says past and present partnerships, Boston, we really would like to hear from you, or see, in this case, feel free to enrich that past and present partnership and collaborations part there, with a lead or so. Boston, if you care. We don't have anyone from California, so that's important that we get that. So looking at the charge there, please, we have a lot of work, but we want to structure it so that it isn't so overwhelming for us all at one time. Are there any questions, please? September is the time that we'll be reporting. Each of the chairs will be reporting. And let me just ask one more time for some wait time. Any questions?
Yeah, I was going to have a suggestion maybe. Can
Please.
we look at having, okay, we were talking about one overall kind of chair, honorary chair, but what about each of these 4 or 5 areas? We have a sort of an outside person along with the board member that you have as a point of contact. So for example, I mentioned Colleen Taylor last month, and she would be good to be part of the committee with the future of FLM, for example. So all I'm proposing is that we have, in addition to the board member that you have as a point of contact, have some outside person that would be part of this particular committee as well. And then we want to have that outside person try to get some others involved in that particular focus area. Because you may remember a couple months ago, we had this whole conversation about Anderson Cooper and Apatow, Albert Schweitzer, and a lot of you all sent emails back, hey, why don't we call Anderson Cooper? Why don't we call actor? Why don't we do that? So that's an opportunity for those that sent those emails to, if you had somebody in mind, reach out to that person, because I think one of you mentioned an actor from Haiti, and so be part of one of the committees, for example, one of the subcommittees, we have a person that would work alongside the board member to make sure we're all in sync on what we want to get done.
Well, Lynn and Leon have that opportunity to ask Colleen Taylor, and I hope they will. I think it was, in this case, we're looking at the piece with Werner Critchlow has an opportunity to call Anderson, or the guy who finished, Leon, who was the guy who finished the guest house? He's a writer.
He finished the guest house, you said?
Yeah, who helped to finish the guest house.
Oh, no, this guy is anonymous.
Okay.
He doesn't want to be exposed about his work.
Thank you so much. And I remember his name now, so we'll
That's
just.
John Grisham, yeah.
That's correct. So, all right. Well, thank you. Please, you've heard James' idea to what we're saying, include other people that the board doesn't get worn out. So please, if you will. September will be the time that we're going to report. So it'll be exciting to hear who you've brought in, and more importantly, who will be, who you're deciding to ask to support as well. Russell, is there any other comment we have for this? Otherwise, to close our report?
Yes, I think it's, Bishop has a speaker that he would recommend it for the banquet. I don't know if you want to speak to that.
Now, this is for the 2020.
Yes, around the 2020 gala or whatever, 23 gala.
23, yes.
Yeah.
You probably heard of Edwidge Dantica. She's a I would say notable or notorious writer. She's Haitian American, and I think she will be an excellent speaker for us. She was in Pittsburgh speaking for the Albert Schweitzer once at Carnegie. Is it Carnegie Hall here in Pittsburgh?
Mm-hmm.
She's fabulous, but she is very expensive.
She's very expensive?
Very, very, very expensive.
Well,
Sora Werner Critchlow is responsible for the year-long events of celebration. I'm sure Sora Werner would get on that phone with her.
No, I will call her. I know her, and maybe she can do it pro bono for us. I will ask her to do it pro bono for us.
What was the name again?
Would be
Edwidge. EDWIG, like in George, DE. and then Dentica, DANTICAT.
Thank you.
So I didn't want to go ahead of you in contacting her,
Absolutely amazing.
but I will try to contact her. I get a phone number now. So
That'd
by
be
the
great.
next meeting, I will tell you the result of my inquiry.
Great, okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you.
Maybe she can be both speaker and do. You're looking for somebody like what you say, the gardener person?
Yeah, the honorary chairperson.
Honorary chairperson? Maybe,
Yes.
maybe we can ask her to do both.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask
I
Gar.
mean, Bishop, after you,
Go on.
sorry, I was just saying
Hello?
that Bishop, after you reach out, I think my cousin is in a and that's how I know that husband, and we just couldn't let, you know, I can, after you do your outreach, I can also try to do some outreach through my cousin.
Oh, to the same person, to Edwidge?
To Edwidge, yes.
Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. I
Sounds
have just
great.
emailed everyone the 40th anniversary, Lynn, and everyone, the 40th anniversary planning outline, so please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I
We
was
just want to say thank you to Dr. Wanda. She surely can, she's a good organizer and she really structure everything for us,
Yeah.
along with Warsaw. So we just want to cheer you on. Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. We
Thank
want to
you,
be
Dr.
encouraged by
Rhonda.
all, we want to be encouraged by all of you in September when we now won't say anything, but allow each of you to share your reports in progress. Happy summer. Thank you.
Good one.
Thank you,
Good one.
Rhonda. I appreciate that. I appreciate your report. I was also wondering about maybe Ann Farquharson, who used to live in Haiti. I don't know if she'd be someone that could be useful for the past in terms of an honorary chair, but she just came across my mind. Okay, so health. Do we have a report from the health committee?
Health,
We've had a lot of talking
pretty much
already.
this last month, our meeting was primarily focused on the credentialing of the clinic. So I didn't come around to talking about the up and coming celebration, which I'll discuss when I speak with them in July. So really,
Okay.
we've already discussed.
Super duper. Thank you.
I can contact Ann Farquharson too. I can try to track her down. We do communicate from time to time, as I'm sure many of us do, and see if she'd be interested in contributing in some way.
Robin,
Thanks.
do you have her email?
I have her email and I communicate with her also via messaging. So.
Okay, well, if you have any problem, I have her email. She writes to me almost once a month or so.
Oh, good. Then between the two of us, we probably could track her. She would have great insight and she's such a nice lady. So.
Especially from a historical standpoint, considering she lived there for so long.
Yes.
Okay. Education. Molly, do you have anything that you'd like to add for education? I know we talked about.
Yeah, I was talking, but I forgot to unmute. So I'm just asking everyone to please watch your email. I'm going to be asking for letters of encouragement that we can send out to our Haitian brothers and sisters as I find ways to do that. That's it.
All right, thank you. Gina, do you want to speak to the interest for the Team for Focus that was submitted for ETI, or to try and get some support for ETI and that first pass at that?
Sure, I'm happy to talk about it. So I'm always looking at grant opportunities because that's just where God has me in this season. And before we talk about the Team for Tech, just wanted to, I don't know if I've shared with this group, just that we did not make it to advance beyond the peer review round for the Kellogg grant that we had gone for. So we were bummed, but at the same time, they gave some really good feedback just in terms of, the fact that we have very strong partnerships. We have, a very long-standing presence and have been quite effective in what we do in Haiti. And they also just encourage us to continue to narrow down our focus and our scope as we pursue opportunities. And I think the other thing that is that we are partnership with William James, and we have a small group that has gotten together to discuss these funding opportunities, and we're spread out throughout various parts of Haiti and have experience throughout various parts of Haiti. So I think it's a really good foundation that we are putting together. So one of these days, one of these grants that we put in will actually get funded, and the amazing work will continue. So we are encouraged by that. But last night, we submitted an application, which is an expression of interest for Team 4 Tech. It's team, the word team, the number 4 tech. And they are doing a $15,000 matching grant to expand technology infrastructure and whatever we want to do from a technology and digital literacy standpoint. And so I had a conversation with somebody who's leading this charge, and what they're doing is they're looking for partners. They partner with various nonprofit organizations, and they have opened it up looking for 10 additional partners right now to continue this work. And it's a 3 to 5 year grant. And they've also gone beyond the 5 years if the mission in the work is consistent and continues to align with their priority areas. They are not in Haiti currently and have expressed an interest in being in Haiti. So the things that they do is so with volunteers or up to 25 volunteers to partner with a nonprofit organization, and they provide hours and hours of instruction, of support, and of technical assistance, and then to work on various projects. So, with our interests, they are really focused on the educational aspect. And so, continuing to support the work of education and furthering education. So we're looking at digital literacy. One of the things that we proposed is having like a donor portal, so that we can connect more with our donors and engage them more, and also using ETI to sort of bring forth digital literacy for the school and beyond. So they were very interested in our literacy centers, but in conversation with Bishop, our literacy centers, they're not part of an organized consortium, if you will. They're sort of their own entity. So Bishop, really recommended using ETI and also MIPADEP. So it's exciting. If we get invited to submit a proposal, I think that would be amazing. Especially since it's 3 to 5 years, and they would fund that, at $15,000 each year. Any questions? I just said a lot very fast.
It's exciting. So we'll keep everyone posted on that, and believe that, the Lord will give us grace to move to the next round so they can be submitted. Certainly around digital literacy, around building capacity for teacher support, around, even, some thoughts we were talking about would even be something, about building capacity around grant writing to help with self-sustainability there in Haiti. So because a number of the grants require that they come they're internal. So wouldn't it be great to build that capacity at the schools? So a number of things that can happen. And I think even though we may not have made the next phase of rounds for the other grant, it's getting us closer and closer and closer and building up more of our capacity and to be able to do it and know what to expect and know what to, how to do it well. And I think that is when we look at our future, this is, donors are going to still be a big part of what we do, but grant funding is definitely something that we're going to want to go after. So I think as we continue to do this, so happy that you guys, that we made it through 3 to 4 rounds. So that just takes us one step closer to being funded. So thank you so much for all of the efforts that you guys have done and the medical team and Dr. Hanahan. And it's just, it's getting us closer to where we need to be. So thank you.
Amen.
Any other comments on that? If not, we'll go to the communications report.
So hi everyone. So we have no report, but I do have one request. If any of you know of fathers who have been engaged with FLM Haiti, maybe there's some messaging we can do around that and release it next Father's Day in terms of encouraging support. So maybe Evans, I don't know if he's a father, but if you know of other fathers who have made contributions or engagement with FLM, let me know. We'll try to write up something, maybe a small story, and send it out as a messaging too. So let me know.
So let me understand well. You want somebody to interview for Father's Day, a father to be interviewed?
Yes.
Okay.
If
and
you're
Evans is a father. His daughter's getting married in July.
Is this Gina?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, that was Gina.
Who did you recommend, Gina?
Oh, I just said Evans is a father. So his daughter, I believe, is the oldest, is getting married in July.
Oh, okay, that's wonderful. Okay, so if it's okay, then I can reach out to Evans and talk to him about his work with our FLM and do a little story. And James, we can try to get it out as a blast for Father's Day to encourage support.
Sure, why not?
Okay, I'll set something up and we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
Another thought, if you wanted someone here in the US as well, is Dr. DeFusco, our dentist, had gone to Haiti on mission trips many times. And his daughter, Kaylin, is a nurse who has also gone on many trips, and they've gone together on the mission trips. I don't know if you're interested in that or not, but they're really very nice people. So just another thought.
Why
I think
They're wonderful, yeah.
Well, why not do feature 2 fathers?
Right.
That's right. So yeah, Robin, if you Dr. Robin, if you have that contact information, let me have it and we'll get something going.
Okay.
Thank you so much, guys.
That sounds like a great idea. All right, guys, we have not had a meeting this long for quite a few months. So a lot was done, a lot was, we're moving forward on a lot of initiatives. So I appreciate everyone for hanging on for the full amount of time so that we could, everyone could be heard. And we are going to adjourn this meeting with prayer. And Bishop, can I ask you to adjourn us with prayer?
Sure. I want to encourage Gina again in a project and also for looking out for us. And I'm thankful for every participant today at the meeting. And surely together, we're going to reach the extraordinary. Let's look to the Lord in prayer. Unless the Lord build the house, those who build the labor in vain. And unless the Lord watch the city, the watchmen, they will watch in vain. So we want, Lord, to commit everything to you. thank you for every board member today. And we pray especially for Verna, Lord, for her health, for her strength. Thank you for all the plans that we have. We pray, Lord, that you will continue to encourage us and to uplift us and to give us wisdom, open the way before us. And we pray Jeremiah's prayer, oh Lord, give us success today and grant us favor, oh Lord, oh, to all the people we are relating to. Bless us for the rest of the day and keep us in your presence and in your power. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Molly, for
Thank
hosting
you.
and taking notes. And I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
See
everybody.
you in July.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right, have a good rest of the month. God bless.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless, bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Oh, we're still going over there?